Good evening and welcome to Austin After Hours. I'm Taylor Ellison. We've got a lot of really fun stories for you tonight. Here's a look at what's coming up. From Los Angeles to Austin, actor Theo Rossi shares why he couldn't wait to make Texas his new home and what to expect this season from his character Shades in the Netflix hit series Luke Cage. And connecting a community through music, Waterloo record store owner John Kunz looks back on over 35 years of helping Austinites find and enjoy the music they love, plus his thoughts on preserving the unique character of Austin. And there is just no limit to this young star's creativity. At only 13, fashion designer Isabella Rose Taylor launched a line at Nordstrom, making her the youngest designer to ever be carried there. Now at 17, she's pursuing her second college degree, collaborating with Pottery Barn Teen, and speaking to audiences across the country about following your dreams. But first, we're headed to Drinkwell to hang out with Theo Rossi and find out why he thinks it doesn't get much better than Austin, Texas.
If you haven't seen season 1, just stop watching this.
But also, then come back.
But then come back. Forget what I just said.
It is so nice to be sitting down with you in Austin, Texas, where you have recently decided to call home.
Yes.
What was the impetus for that?
We just wanted a place that we could, call home and really, put the flag down. But more importantly, my incredible wife is a Texan. Our first date was in Austin.
Howdy, y'all. I love to hear that. So what did that first date look like?
So I flew in. I was actually doing Sons of Anarchy at the time, and I literally went right from set to the airport.
Romance
alert.
Yeah.
And I had the fake tattoos on my head and everything.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I had never been to Austin. It was like one of those days where it was like 196 degrees here. She was incredibly late to come and get me. She doesn't want to tell people that.
Oh, we're gonna throw a little shade.
Yeah, incredibly late. I didn't know what was going on. And then we went and walked around. We had an amazing night.
It sounds like
here we are married with 2 kids, so things went well that night.
So it sounds like you enjoyed Austin,
Yeah,
and you guys had a fantastic first date.
Pretty great.
So you've got 2 kids under 5 and 3 dogs. A day in the life at your house, I'm sure, is a wild ride in the best way possible.
For nobody. Nobody wants to do it.
It sounds like also the surface of the sun does not bother you.
No.
Like living here in the heat, you would take that.
Let me explain to you. I went to LA for 15 years.
Yeah.
And then I went back in New York for 4 years. It's like -9 degrees, like for a while.
It's brutal.
Like day after tomorrow, Jake Gyllenhaal cold for like months.
Thank you.
We just finished Sons of Anarchy. The first night we got there, it snowed and we were like, this is amazing, magical, like Home Alone type episode. Like this is so cool. It never stopped. It's super hard when you come with like the carnival that we do of kids and dogs in the business I'm in. It used to be you can only live in LA, and now it's kind of, you got to just live somewhere where the industry is thriving.
Sounds like you really prioritize quality of life.
Without a doubt.
And there's a good one here. Let's talk Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Such an exciting series.
Yeah.
We're season 2, spill. What can we expect?
Listen, the way season 1 ended, no Marvel show had done what we'd done, meaning where the villains, myself and Mariah Dillard, who's played by Alfre Woodard, were standing at the top as the victors, and Luke was being carted off to jail. That's the end of season 1. By the way, spoiler alert if you were talking about season 2.
Hashtag
so
spoiler
just stop
alert.
it. If you haven't seen season 1, just stop watching this.
But also, then come back.
But then come back, right, finish. Forget what I just said. But then season 2, we kind of pick up with that, and now we have to see how these 2 villains exist in this power struggle, and then we get to learn everything about them. And we do some things that have never been done, in Marvel. I'm so incredibly proud of the show because we go to places that a lot of people don't go to. And the villains and heroes, the lines get blurred a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that, especially with my character Shades, people just really kind of are ambivalent of like, oh my God, I love him, but I'm supposed to hate him.
Yes.
And that was a really cool thing to do.
For people who are just discovering the show on Netflix, how do you describe Shades and what drew you to him?
Oh man, complicated, super violent, but with a code in his violence. He's kind of this crime boss with a moral compass in a way, his moral compass is just way different. And then you get to dig into like the loves of his life. And it just humanizes him, and it gives layers and layers and layers to his character, so it becomes like four-dimensional. My legacy is right here. Harlem's Paradise. You really want out? Sell it to me.
And you get to work alongside such an incredible cast and crew, it sounds like. How has that helped you grow as an actor?
I've been so fortunate. I've been doing this 18 years, not to age myself. I'm still very young, guys, so just calm down.
He said 8.
Started when I was 1.
Yeah.
No, really, Sons of Anarchy was like going to college for me. You know, that was kind of my first introduction into like, oh my God, like people know you outside of your friends and family. I was at that point working alongside people that I adored and watched growing up, and I just adored them not just as actors but as human beings. And then I move into Luke Cage, and it's like Mahershala Ali and Alfre Woodard, and I'm working with these people who are just, Alfre's a legit legend. I mean, the amount of Oscars, the Emmys, she's been doing this 40 years, but Alfre is an incredible human being besides being an actor. And I've always fancied myself as I'm a father first, I'm a husband first, I'm a human being first. And acting is just super cool. I love that I do it, but it is by no means defines me. Being a person is everything. So I gravitate towards the actors who do it, but they're people. And Alfre is one of those. Same with Mahershala in the first season. So I've just been super fortunate. It's just like between action and cut, you're just having so much fun.
Yeah.
It's almost like running a marathon. It's like the training's the hard part, and then when you actually go running, it's kind of easy. Which is...
I don't know what kind of marathons you're running. I'm not sure that's my definition of fun yet, but I get what you're saying. I get the metaphor.
The training's the hard part.
Yes, exactly. How can your story inspire other people who are going after something they really want to be a part of?
So mine is extremely peculiar. I don't kind of wish it upon anybody. The way I grew up was you were basically defined by money and power. You know, my heroes weren't baseball players and basketball players. My heroes were hustlers, you know, people who were on the street and people who were doing what they were doing. It was really when I wouldn't do that, I would say, I went towards, I had a friend who was in an acting class, and I was like, this seems like a good way to spend a couple of nights a week. I was drawing all the time. My dream was to be a comic book artist, which is really full circle now.
Yeah.
And somehow, you know, I got cast in some independent film that never came out, and I went, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it like I do everything in life. And I just inundated myself with the history of filmmaking and television. And I moved out to LA, and I did what everybody else does. You know, I started as an extra. I waited tables, I was bar backing, I was a busboy. I did whatever I had to do to free up my schedule, and I just kept hustling and grinding and going at it. It's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to get caught up. And I was just very focused and knowing what I was gonna do. And it led to Sons. And really I say, like, yes, I did 40 jobs before that, but it led to that. And I worked my way up from really having one line, I think, in the first episode to being however the last few seasons were, which were incredible for me. And I haven't stopped since, so I've been fooling them for a while.
But that story, I think, can be so powerful to hear.
Yeah.
What can happen with persistence and hard work and passion about something you genuinely are interested in.
For sure. You truly got to want to do it.
Yeah.
And you got to want to do it for the right reason. So I'm just constantly searching for projects like Cage where I get to not just take a character and play it, but where I take a character and I create an entire life for him, and really he becomes like almost like a friend of mine.
Outside of these projects that you work on that are so amazing, what's bringing you joy right now?
Oh man, you know, having 2 young sons, even today, as crazy as this sounds and as weird as this sounds, I was like literally brushing my teeth. Kane was watching how I brush my teeth.
Yeah.
And I was like super careful to like, cause I'm so aggressive with the Sonicare and you're not supposed to be. And I was just like, hold it there, because he's gonna one day. And I'm like, just try to do it normal, because I knew that he was watching me.
Yeah, because you're always on, and you're always a role model once you become a father.
So I know that I'm kind of setting that example for him. So that is the most interesting thing in my life, you know, and really just being here and digging this town and figuring it out.
Well, amid that busy lifestyle, thanks for carving out some time for us. Cheers to you. Really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it, Theo.
It's a real pleasure.
Theo, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We are certainly glad you decided to make Austin home and look forward to another exciting season of Luke Cage. Up next, we're talking tunes with Waterloo record store owner John Kunz. Don't go anywhere.
I always say I sound, or Raw Mallow sounds like I sound in the shower, but it's not true.
What's it like selling vinyl in a digital age?
Well, 70% of the music we sell these days is vinyl. It's just really great seeing, you know, the younger generation adopting this 100-year-old technology. But yeah, the young kids are really digging it.
Records are alive and well.
Absolutely.
In Austin. So what are some popular ones?
Starting when he was just a teenager, we were working with Gary Clark Jr. The first time we worked with Gary out at Austin City Limits, he was just in a real small stage, and I kept saying, we're gonna need more CDs, we're gonna need more CDs, and his dad's like, we're making them, you know.
Yeah.
But then he got signed to Warner Brothers, and we had him perform on our stage out in the parking lot for South by Southwest.
What memories.
So cool.
So cool. Also, I would just like to say loyal forever, go Maroons. And that's all I have to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Who else do we have over here?
One of the guys that helped put Austin music on the map, Willie Nelson.
Oh, nice.
He was the pilot show on Austin City Limits. And we've been so fortunate to have him perform on our stage twice. He calls me over to the side of the stage and says, I just got word, we're not playing the backyard tonight. Is it okay if I go ahead and do the set that we were going to do at the backyard? Oh, yeah, I think that'd be okay. But I mean, that's, you know, the magic of Willie Nelson.
Let's actually, let's go sit on that stage and just feel how special that place is.
Taylor, welcome to my favorite hangout.
And also my favorite hangout, so such an honor to be here. I have been chatting with you on TV longer than anybody else.
It's probably true, yeah.
This is exciting to get
really
to
fun.
have a reunion with you. I'm glad you got the memo about our matching uniforms today.
I know.
You know, I tried to step outside of the box and not nerd out by wearing my Waterloo record shirt. Why did you want to start a record store in Austin, Texas?
Well, you know, I'd been doing record stores and managing record stores for a chain. And there was a lot of things they just didn't get. I just knew this town deserved better than that, and I thought I could. So I quit that chain and decided I was going to open up my own store. Meanwhile, my partner, Lewis Cart, we had almost the same vision for what kind of record store we wanted to spend the rest of our lives in. We had just the most incredible partnership. We still do. He left Waterloo after 5 years. In fact, he just retired from Whole Foods.
So that was 1982.
Right.
Let's take a trip through time. What did Austin, Texas look like in 1982?
It was an awesome, cool city, but way, way different than it is now. We were over on South Lamar. We were outgrowing that location and decided to move over here. Originally, we were just in this one room.
What were you hoping to create in this space here?
You know, it was always about being kind of the community gathering place, kind of that town square for music lovers, music makers, music nerds, and just the kind of place that everybody would want to hang out in.
I certainly feel like you achieved that. Do you feel like you created that?
Yeah. People have gotten engaged here. People have had a wedding here. To someone saying, you know, it's, you know, the end for my father or my mother, and their favorite music is such and such, and that's what they want more than anything to be listening to in their final days. From that moment in the womb, the first thing we hear is that boom, boom, boom. And that rhythm is one of the first things we know. Myself, like probably everybody that works here and a lot of people that shop here, just have to have music in our life every day, like you have to have oxygen.
What are some of your favorite music memories that have happened in this store?
On this stage, when Diamonds on the Inside came out, Ben Harper did an in-store here during South by Southwest, and we got him set up to join Willie Nelson's band and got him to play the Austin Music Hall with Willie.
Wow.
And it was such a big deal to have him here. The excitement in the room was like nothing I've ever experienced, and I got to introduce him, and I felt this wave of energy, like hit me like the Maxell tape guy. I mean, I really thought, I'm gonna be blown back over. And I was just like, wow, I felt it. I've never felt anything like that before or after in my life.
You create such amazing community in this store.
Another one that was Nora Jones' first record came out. We had her here for an in-store performance, and her mom, Sue, came down from Dallas. Her first piano teacher came down from Dallas for the event.
So special.
It was the biggest audience she'd ever played to in her life, right here in this store.
Wow.
And she had played at Clay Pit the night before. This town just embraced her like no other. In fact, by the time that record went gold, before it went multi-platinum, so at gold it's 500,000. 5,000 of those 500,000 were sold here. So when you think of all the record stores, you know, all across America, this one store in Austin, Texas, not counting all the others, was 1% of her gold record. I mean, that was just like amazing. But that speaks to why this town deserves great record stores, and it's got so many of them, and we're proud to be one of them.
Waterloo Records really is such an institution for everyone, and you know, myself included. Growing up in Austin, so many of my first dates were here, and you'd
Really?
get ice cream at
All
Amy's,
right,
and then you'd come, you know, shop.
yeah.
So you've seen a lot of change, and you've seen a lot of Austin. What would you want people who are moving to Austin for the first time to keep in mind?
Wow, that's interesting, because there are so many people moving to Austin, and I really kind of worry about that. Now, there's no one to say, hey, come with us.
Yeah.
Let me show you what we do in Austin that's really, really different and so much cooler than anything you ever did in your city. You know, they just got to find somebody that really is connected with the town and say, help me get around this place and show me all the cool stuff.
So
and,
true.
You know, and whether that's music or food or the outdoors or getting involved in the community in every way you can. Like ham.
Like ham. Well, that's such good advice,
You know?
and I think for locals, it's a reminder to let your local light shine. You really gotta, you know, help preserve the character of this city and welcome people, and then help them find all the things that are so good about it.
I know. They came here for a reason, and you want to find the fastest way you can to find out all the cool stuff about the city you decided you wanted to go to.
Exactly. You know, you love music, and music's such a huge part of your life. Do you like performing? Is there ever a part of you that
I have no talent in that regard whatsoever.
I didn't say, are you talented, John? I said, do you like performing? Would you want to start a band? What would your band name be?
I've thought of a bunch of great band
I know
names,
you have. I know.
But no, I'd much rather just be that person that helps connect someone with the music they love.
Well, John, you're doing an extraordinary job connecting all of us to the music that we love and the people that make music, and just incredible community. So thank you so much for that.
Thank
Cheers
you, Taylor.
to you. Rock
Okay.
on. What a special day and place. Thank you so much for your time, John. Make sure you stick around. Up next, we're headed to the studio with artist and designer Isabella Rose Taylor.
I'll never forget the first time I ever saw a girl wearing one of my items out in public. I definitely took a picture of her very discreetly.
You took a little stalker photo.
This is my art studio where all the magic happens.
It's such a special space. What kind of things are you creating in here?
Everything from painting and sketching to working on designs, whether that be sewing, mood boards, even doing Skype meetings, so it's kind of very versatile.
We happen to be sitting on the most incredible stools, and these are stools that you created in collaboration with Pottery Barn Teen. Tell me about that.
It was such an amazing experience. I've always been really interested in home furnishings, so when I got the opportunity to design a bedroom and an art studio, I was so thrilled. I got to create all those dream pieces I wish I had. So really my ideal bedroom, my ideal art studio, ideal stools to sit on.
I will tell you, they are perfect for sitting and chatting. They're so comfortable.
The resources and then the talent they have on their team. I was so inspired, a total kid in the candy shop. They'd have just so many samples and options, and it was the best experience.
So like when you said you wanted fluff, they're like, oh,
I know,
we'll show
it's
you.
every option in the world. The world is really your oyster.
How long have you been doing these types of projects?
I've been painting since I was about 3. I've always been very much the creative type. And then when I was 9 is actually when I was very interested in mixed media and fabric, so that's when I learned to sew. And that's really when the whole fashion thing kind of took over.
When we first met, you were 12, and there were already so many incredible things going on.
I was selling locally, doing Austin Fashion Week, participating in local runway shows. I was selling on my website, and that was all very exciting. And then from there, it really quickly scaled and grew. And next thing I knew, I was selling in a major retailer. So I sold at Nordstrom's for 2 years. I was the youngest designer to sell there, and I was just amazed to have that experience. But along with that came me realizing I needed to learn so much more, which is why I chose to enroll in Parsons School of Design.
So being the youngest designer that Nordstrom had ever carried, what did that feel like to you?
It felt so completely surreal. I don't even think it felt real until the moment where I saw my clothes hanging in the store. It was such a dream come true. I've been a shopper at Nordstrom's my whole life.
That would be magical to walk in and see your pieces there. What about when you see people wearing your pieces?
I'll never forget the first time I ever saw a girl wearing one of my items out in public. I was so excited. I definitely took a picture of her very discreetly.
You took a little stalker photo of her?
It was really cool to see the way she had styled it.
So what does a day in your life look like?
A typical day in my life currently would be, I'm in school, so I have some assignments, things like that to do. As soon as I get that out of the way, I like to jump into working on my business.
So let's paint a picture for everyone. When you say some assignments for school, you're 17, so most people would be thinking you mean high school, but you actually mean college. And this is your second time to be in college.
I already have an associate's degree from Parsons in fashion marketing, and then currently I'm in my second year at NYU, where I'm studying international business.
What do you think is the advantage of being so young in these fields when a lot of your peers are probably a bit older?
I get to be around so many people and I have so much to learn from them. I've always said, like, I want to be the person who has the least experience in the room because that means I have the most to gain. I've gotten to participate a lot with the Dell Women Entrepreneur Network, and I'm always incredibly inspired to meet female entrepreneurs, no matter what the field, just because I really aspire to be like them. I've also done some public speaking and spoken at different TEDx events, and I always love hearing from other speakers. I'm such a fangirl backstage.
TEDx is a very neat thing to be a part of. What's that like to be on a stage in front of so many people and be sharing these messages?
Public speaking is something I never really saw myself getting into, but it's something that I've really begun to enjoy, and I think it's another kind of passion of mine.
Yeah.
I've always been very introverted, so I think on a personal level, it's taught me a lot. I mostly like to talk about dreaming big, pursuing your passions despite age, and also female empowerment. I hope that by telling my story, people can walk away maybe feeling just a little bit more inspired or take that plunge into pursuing what they're passionate about. I think that's the ultimate goal, to have some kind of effect, no matter how small, in someone.
What helped you get to a place where you could open up and share?
I definitely still get nervous before public speaking. It's something that the more I've done, the more comfortable I've been with it, and just the experiences and the opportunities have really outweighed me being, I guess, introverted.
How do you hope other young people see their potential? Because you've already done a lot for any human being, not just someone that's young. But how do you think your messages can translate?
I think self-discovery is so important, allowing yourself the freedom to try different things. When you do find something you're passionate about, you don't have to wait till you're older to take those first steps.
What is more exciting, seeing someone wear a piece of clothing of yours, or knowing that put their bedroom full of your design pieces in it?
The main thing is how they make it their own. I'm always so interested to see everyone's take on it, and that kind of in itself inspires me. So really, to make someone's kind of favorite piece in their closet is my ultimate goal.
Well, I've got a lot of goals after today. I feel inspired. Thank you so much for being that for all of us. You can find Isabella's unique designs at Pottery Barn Teen right now. And thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Austin After Hours. You can find this complete show on YouTube, or head to our social media accounts for some behind the scenes fun. We'll see you right back here next week. Have a great weekend.